out of the Kalista Amumu combo. Huhi great on the engages, and the Taliyah from Abbedage very good as well. I want to know how much of 100 Thieves victorious comps they have found. Sivir now gone as well, so Zeri, the unanswered top tier AD carry, but right now the hover, yeah, there it is.
Is this Berserker Draven?
It could be. I mean, Berserker can play the aggressive stuff. He doesn't always do it. The Yuumi takeaway makes a lot of sense, trying to split up Zeri Yuumi. Fair enough. The question is, what's the AD carry you're pairing it with? Draven Yuumi, not necessarily the combo you normally see.
Yeah, because this is just giving over Zeri Lulu if 100 Thieves want to take that trade. Also interesting that they prio Azir over the Wukong. Definitely has to do with how well Abbedage played that in the first game.
I love this strategy from red side. Not that it's always the best, but when you leave open a lot of the OPs,
yeah,
it's one of the strategies sometimes people do where normally there's like one or two that's going to be the first pick that's clearly the best in people's minds, then you start trading from there. Here, between Zeri, Wukong, and Azir, there's a lot of good options that you can go for, and so C9's kind of left a lot of them open to set this up potentially.
Well, a lot of top tier picks on the 100 Thieves side. We'll see if it's going to be AD carry answered here, or they weather some bans.
Oh!
Nilah coming through! Berserker back on Nilah.
Bit of a Berserker special. I think the only time we've seen it in NA thus far was from him. It did not work the time that we saw it, but it has seen play globally. It is a counter pick you see sometimes come out, has a low range, but high playmaking potential.
I love it.
Engage. Nilah can do it, Azir can do it, Yuumi can follow up in either one. Loves to buff someone who's going to kind of frontline and use the heals and shields as now Taliyah's dropped off. Cloud9 going to chop at Abbedage's champion pool.
Yeah, we're obviously not going to see the Zillion here, but it's kind of a Cloud9 thing in elimination type games where they're trying to close someone out. That's when they save this factor that is prepared that the other team isn't ready for. It was Zillion in the EG series, and here it's the Nilah.
You say no Zillion, but Azir top is also a somewhat meta flex people have done. I think that was even done recently in LCK, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Dom1 played it alongside some Heimerdinger bot, you know, some cool stuff going on there.
A lot of fun. And C9 is no stranger to fun drafts, so there's a possibility if maybe they see an angle, but like you're saying, most likely not the case. Instead, you see a lot of jungle focus, given that's the mismatch for 100 Thieves, banning those out for C9, getting rid of some Taliyah for the mid lane.
Final comments come through. Fiora dropped off again. Looks like Ssumday would like maybe to play an Aatrox. Of course, there are other answers out there. But Kennen and Fiora are both gone. Cloud9 need a jungle, and they want to save counter for top. So Trundle gonna stuff things up, build more space for the team. And yeah, it's gonna be a pretty safe, you know, semi-frontliner.
I can't imagine Ssumday not taking Aatrox once again here, but there are still options open for Fudge. He can play the Gnar again. He could also play Ornn. Would this be a Seraphine mid by Abbedage?
Could be the case. We'll have to see what they end up going for. Like you said, the Aatrox most likely taken for 100 Thieves here. Ornn is up, but again, that's going to get countered as well, most likely by the Camille. And given the fact that the Trundle's already locked in, this does feel like the better of the two blind options that 100 Thieves were probably considering. Now the question is, what do you go for the mid lane in Abbedage? He got taken apart by Jensen in the skill matchup. LeBlanc taken out. Ahri still up. Does feel like a bit of a staple for Abba. A lot of his best plays this year have been on the Ahri. Even in the early laning phase at the start of the year, he was still making a lot of charms work, but it will be the Seraphine.
Seraphine in the mid lane. Plenty of damage in the team. Wukong, Aatrox, and Zeri can all do enough that a non-full damage mid can be successful. The engage, I think, good enough. Wukong sets it up. Seraphine follows. And Camille for Fudge, the answer into Ssumday's Aatrox.
I've seen this as like a throwback counter pick to maybe several years ago. I don't necessarily think this is meant to dominate the Aatrox, but it will give them the ability to get on top of Zeri at some point in the game. There's so many enchanters. They need really strong dive to be able to have a chance in late game team fights.
It's such an interesting position because they also have the Azir kind of in their back pocket to outrange some of this. It is a relatively low range composition for the side of 100 Thieves, aside for kind of Seraphine throwing her E and Q out.
Yeah, I will say, having played or seen a lot of late game Seraphine, that Seraphine can outrange Azir later in the game. Like just the Q, E poke, and the fact that you're sustaining makes it just devastating in the late game.
Ticking down. Could be the last game of the match. But
we are into game 4. 100 Thieves trying to stay alive. Crowd bumping as usual. We had the bucket handout yet again. I don't know when this became the NA tradition now, but we got the handoff to the front row for the bucket.
We're running out of buckets, Mark.
I bet buckets in Chicago.
I hope so. They had to put in a special order, apparently. Hundreds of buckets.
Very confused why we need so many, but we need them all for the fans.
FBI off to the races.
Is that
They're
bucket
saying
9?
something about buckets, yeah.
Bucket 9?
Hat? I don't know.
Bucket head. Oh, there, you got it. They cheered for you, so you must have got it right.
I'm the right one.
Oh, he's wearing it on his head.
Yeah.
I just turned around to look.
they
That's
said
what bucket hat.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
intelligent. See, that's the nice thing about being here in the audience. I can hear individual people, by the way, which is great, and the interaction goes back and forth. It's awesome. It's a nice interpersonal experience. We got buckets. We got the best fans in the world. It's wonderful. Thank you. I was pandering to you, and you applauded. Good job.
That keeps the cycle going.
Yes.
Yes.
They're feeding off each other in a feedback loop.
The Ouroboros of
Crowd interaction.
crowd interactions.
All right, let's take a look down this bottom lane. I feel like this is what a lot of people want to see. The Nilah coming out for Berserker, seeing if they can scrap it out early on. It should be a pretty aggressive lane matchup. Obviously, at 6 is when the biggest power spikes are going to come in for the actual all-in threat, but you can't really play it too defensively, given the short range.
Yeah, it's just a matchup we've seen so little of in LCS. Berserker definitely trying to have the, I guess, like, knowledge gap here. I will say the one time they did play it with the Sona, they were in a very good position right before their mythic items were to be completed. They actually had enough gold to go back and get their mythics. Then a big fight broke out. Everybody died, and they couldn't really get back in the game. But the early laning phase, they seemed quite practiced at. So even though it's a Yuumi instead of a Sona, I still feel like they're going to be well equipped to handle the lane.
Yeah, and the dash back in is a big part of it, as we see an early play,
that's
potentially up in
early.
the top side.
Gonna play towards it. Fudge gonna grab the wall and get on out. No problem there. Vision, though, of course, in the jungle, they see K12 CS. What buffs was Closer wearing? Not blue. All right, must have taken Gromp or Krugs. There's no way it was Krugs, so they know what camps he's gone for.
Wow, Blaber sneaking in onto that through the ramp already. He's going to go behind Abba.
Abba
flash.
has some tools, gets the root, still flashes away. The rest of the damage is going to be too much for him. Maybe could have lived, but we got damage on FBI. The man's getting low. Ignite is on. He will survive it, but that is a fight going better. 3 summoners down for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, even the Doran's shield start, right? It's much different than the longsword 3-pot you see from everybody else. So very nice early laning. 3 summoner spells burned already.
A lot of the Nilah lanes, you want to have something to help enable you as somebody gets out of there. The Taric was one of the most common matchups you had seen.
Yeah.
Being able to get the double stun as well as the double shield and healing. It's a little funny with Yuumi because she's on top of you already. She doesn't benefit from the extra dodge zone that you can kind of hand out. The shielding and healing she puts on you does affect her, but again, she's on top of you and can't take damage anyways. So it is a little bit funny, but she does have the slow available on the Q, the speed up on the E, as well as the root at 6. And so the shared XP is a big part of it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it, honestly, is Yuumi is, I would say, the best scaling support in League of Legends. Every single ability rank up is very variable. All of her stats are really solid there as well. And so Nilah printing free experience and giving it over to her support, it's one of the best recipients possible.
You see, 4 for Berserker already, but ahead of them.
Polymorph means they can go on to Zven. He has no easy way out of this one, but he's got enough health to survive it. Thank you very much. Cloud9 walk away.
And as much as I was just saying, the dodge zone not always valuable there. The fact that he was disjointed while Polymorph, he put the dodge zone on top of him by Berserker, so the closer Q actually did no damage.
Those are still trying to get this wave shoved in. A lot of supportive jungling happening early on in this game. Blaber helping Fudge shove in the top lane, and then Closer ganking and then returning to make sure they can get the wave in.
And as Zven runs a bit low on mana, Nilah does not get enhanced attack range unless you land a Q, and if you're queuing to get attack range at all times, you will eventually run out. So Berserker, though, has enough to keep the lane going. Still 100 means he can get another 3 out at this point, so not a problem to play the lane out entirely. And as this is a non-cannon wave, you can go for a fast push and get everything else done. So recalls come across. It should be no problem for Cloud9 to also get the shove and then get their own recall.
Nice wave clear available for the Nilah there. As you see the spread after the Q, clears that wave right out, allows him to get a pretty quick recall despite having to clear an extra wave. Up now about just that wave.
Berserker's laning phase is so good.
Very good.
And Zven talked about this a little bit when we had him on the analyst desk about a month ago. He said when he started playing with Berserker, he was very much the standard Korean AD carry who just wants to get all of the minions, and like that's winning lane. And slowly they've been trying to transition him more towards like minions are good, but it's also good to kill people too. So it definitely seems like it's always going to be one of his strengths because that's the way he came up as an AD carry, is just high focus on CS, but he's getting better and better at actually denying the other AD carry CS as well.
And it's a really cool evolution for him as a player because when he came in, it was with Winsome. There was a question about, there was a lot of laning problems that they had. They were pretty low down at 4%, CSD and whatnot throughout spring. And there was a question of, is that Winsome or is it Berserker? You know, exactly where's this line? And I think it's cool to hear from Zven that, you know, Berserker did have a bit more of a passive mindset, and he has switched to be more aggressive in spring, and that's why he has been dominating a lot of these matchups. And it's the growth of a player that makes you wonder, what is the ceiling of Berserker now, just completing his first year? I think a lot of people are very eager to see the growth that can continue from him.
Especially with the lane mate as a rookie split support there as well, right? Not even like, oh yeah, I've got 7 years solo queue experience and a year in academy as my rookie. It's like, no, I just became a support in April.
It's hilarious the amount of role swap supports there are in the LCS. Huhi himself, one of the most valuable, as we can see the crab go over, fans lose their mind.
I think the series is over now.
You were right, it's 100%
Blaber
of
might
games.
have won the game just now.
At least the first rate curse was broken. Hunter Thieves got it and still dropped game 3. Cloud9 though, 600 gold lead just from laning phase. Honestly feeling comfortable here. They have been, it's felt in control ever since the end of game 2. And we got the engage coming across. Gonna get the oink back onto 1. Without summoners, it might not be enough. Huhi has nowhere to go. The traffic cone stops him, and Berserker finds first blood.
And that's exactly what you were talking about with getting the experience share so Yuumi could hit level 6, and they pounce before Huhi is going to be able to self-ult to get the kill.
Yeah, you see the first level 6s before either bot laner or jungler there, no 6s. And the fact that they had forced the flash out of Huhi earlier made him the easy target to focus down there. No way to get back over the end of the pillar. First blood coming in for them, up some CS. Closer having to play defensive to make sure the FBI is not going to get dove here. And meanwhile, Blaber's just working down on that dragon.
Ooh, the dragon's working down on him too. He's getting pretty low, and they spot it.
Oh, go for broke W, blast plant something. Nah, not in time. Closer didn't want to go for the W and then flash out. But I think he would have been in fog Wing over. He could have maybe gone for the smite steal anyway, because I don't think they wouldn't have known where he was. He had that 1 second window. Chooses to say, flash isn't worth it. Maybe correct. Either way, again, it's a Drake goes to Cloud9.
So the interesting thing about this game is we've been talking a lot about scaling. It does feel potentially in 100 Thieves' favor. Obviously, Zeri has been talked about to death. We've seen a lot of Seraphine comps do well in the previous series. We started to see some problems the Seraphine comps can run into. But here with the Aatrox, the Wukong, so much threat available for 100 Thieves and mid to late game team fights that I do feel like there is a little bit of this pressure on 100 Thieves, or excuse me, C9 to make plays happen in the early and mid game. And they have a lot of tools to blow them up. Obviously, Fudge can go flying in as well, but they kind of got to keep this pace up, I think.
Berserker gonna get himself a turret plate. Zven's been farming gold off of it as well. Solo plate gold, you always love to see it. Hop out, go for the ward, come back a little bit later. You can eventually get your spell thief stacks regardless. 2 plates now, 320 plus on a Berserker. And as the wave clear goes down, Abbeddage just switching the lane. And I do like, by the way, Seraphine alongside a shielding support. The W heals if it's cast when she's already shielded, which is either I double W, shield myself, then heal, or Huhi just shields me and I heal the team.
Absolutely. Fudge, though, trying to bait again.
Ults to pull back
Very
some of
low.
it. Now ult in for Ssumday as well. Stun, Traffic Cone gets away from all of it. Might be hard to find the kill, a couple of slows, but he's gonna be fine. And here comes Closer. Physical damage shield. Knockup still finds it. And now Blaber could be the target. Flashes up though, he's gonna be safe. Well done.
Critical counter gank by Closer. They're showing up to save his life. Fudge had the Ignite on to make sure that Ssumday could not try and sustain through 1v2 because Fudge was so low at the start of that fight, and Closer comes flying in with the Flash E ultimate to save Ssumday's life.
Yeah, Wave was in a bad spot for Fudge, which is why they were trying to go for that gank, and they probably didn't expect Closer to still be up there, knowing he'd recently taken the Rift Herald, but big chunk done by Ssumday there. Still lands Q3. Fudge would have loved to immune that, I think, with his ultimate. Then they could have been more aggressive. Traffic Cone doesn't quite knock Ssumday back the way they want to. Ssumday very patiently actually holds his flash this whole time, and then it's just inescapable once Closer arrives.
Super well done there. Fudge was in tough position. The W from Aatrox was on him. The snapback might have came through and stopped him from getting his ult off. Maybe that allows Ssumday to disengage. So he just decided to drop the ult and get that kill. And, you know, Blaber had flash. He was a flash Q away from maybe being able to kill Ssumday. Like you said, Ssumday had flash as well.
Yeah.
And once Closer showed up, Blaber just went into disengage mode.
Nice shot there, gets away. And never a Q3 there for Ssumday. Lets it kind of tech back down as Fudge is going to be happy overall. Now, of course, down 5 CS, down the assist. No longer winning the lane gold-wise, but might be okay overall. Cloud9 still 600 gold in the lead, plus that Drake as well. Scoreboard says Cloud9 winning so far in Game 4.
Yeah, their laning phases have just been overall so strong, and Jensen really stepping up in these last 2 games. I mean, Game 3 opened up almost a 50 CS advantage, LeBlanc versus Ahri. Definitely does have the highest presence champion globally on patch that we are playing on currently. Seraphine not the strongest laner, but Jensen still keeping up over 10 CS per minute.
Pressure from laning phase was something that 100 Thieves failed to weather last game. And here you can see gold leads already coming up for them, despite the farms being somewhat close, you know, like a 10 CS lead in the bot lane. It's 1,000 gold lead between the kill and the turret plates. Mid lane, a couple turret plates, and about 20 CS right now as well. Those are the primary carries for them. While Fudge is obviously an important member on the side lane, in this game, it does feel like his duty is more setup about locking people in place for the rest of the team.
Gets the play, doesn't greed. Knows he's got a pocket closer, but respects that if Fudge's locking up, he might have a jungler himself, and here comes the play. Can he bait him in? Traffic cone, W, no ult. Fudge doesn't go for broke, but maybe with close they want to go for it anyway. Doesn't happen. Information now gleaned on both sides. Good couple of trades by Ssumday. Herald will not quite kill the turret, but if they get any help at all, you can see the mid laners walking over now as well.
Yeah, 100 Thieves kind of map splitting away from the Zeri this game, opting to get Ssumday ahead. Harder to go down bot lane with how strong Berserker and Zven are currently.
Yeah, nice bit of topside control from Closer and Ssumday. The Bash Brothers kind of taking over that top side of the map.
Yeah, and I think it's actually not that bad. So with the Seraphine comps that we've seen, so much of them are just like meatball comps.
Yeah.
Right? It's Seraphine Aatrox, Silas, Seraphine Swain, just these kind of drain tank bruiser type champions that are comboed with Seraphine. So just because the team has Zeri doesn't mean that it has to be like a Zeri Seraphine comp. If Aatrox gets going, Aatrox plus Seraphine is also unstoppable.
That's a huge part of it, is that it buys a lot of space for the Zeri because you go in with these big, beefy threats that are getting topped up with shields and heals and enabled. That means that Zeri doesn't have to kind of kite back. She can actually go in. And so the flip side of that does mean that Cloud9 has got a lot of control bottom. They've already taken 3 plates just themselves. They're going to get their second dragon stacking. Not going to happen, Phreak.
Rather early. I think he still had vision from Scar's Bloom. Doesn't really matter.
He got some gold.
He did.
Gold.
He earned 20 gold or something. I think, you know, Close was like on the screen, so we got, you know, spell piece credit. Red buff will be claimed no problem. Walks through an invisible wall. Well, visible, not existing wall, whatever, it's fine. Overall, though, relatively close game. Gold 160 apart, but keep in mind that we are 10 minutes away from 100 Thieves' hand being forced because Cloud9 have gotten early Drakes. 2-item spike's going to be what you fight over at this point. Ssumday has gone for a more offensive version, by the way. It is Eclipse on the Aatrox. Generically the stronger build, but it's going to depend on the context, and as one of the carries, goes for the offensive version.
The other adaptation we've seen from the previous game is it's not the first strike AP max Yuumi.
Yeah.
Ben is going for Moonstone with the extra shielding that will come in from Ahri, which makes a lot of sense given that Nilah's passive can help out with that.
We can see the waves cleared back and forth. Nilah happy to just be like, all right, well, we shoved it in, whatever. Got some pressure down there. We will see an eventual turret die. Keep in mind, top is very, very low. Around 700 health. Thank you very much. Probably low 320. Whatever. You can check, Mark.
I'll get you, buddy.
Thanks, bud. But now a trade in the top side. Fudge, yeah, he's got a red buff, so we'll regen it.
380 left on that turret, and like you said, red buff for Fudge. Sundera completed as well. Despite being down a lot of gold, you know, having the mythic to match means that he's in a bit of an okay spot. The all-in threat is what you have to really worry about for the Eclipse.
A lot of people coming. A lot of people on Cloud9's side around this bot turret as well, so definitely a trade. Fudge needs to realize what's happening and get out of there.
The first turret is bot side. Berserker and Zven winning the lane handily. The extra 150 only goes Cloud9's way, stretching the lead.
I mean, we're going to see how well can Nilah carry, because he has so much of the team's gold right now. We'll be up against this mega strong Aatrox Seraphine combo in the mid game. Likely this will go over 200 Thieves, but Berserker did arrive just in time. Yeah. And you know Blaber always likes to fight.
But can he? Is Trundle Yuumi going to be enough power? Aatrox has already recalled down to the bottom side, has teleport if needed. Cloud9, though, have the entire team around here as well. So for now, it's Ssumday getting alone time with a minion wave. It'll be a wildly precious an objective, but at some point, someone will have to walk to the bottom lane.
All right, 100 Thieves able to get that burn down in time safely back to mid lane as well without handing a kill over. Very tense game, it feels like right now. Both teams kind of investing in opposite sides of the map like you were just talking about. And it's very, very scary. I mean, from here, if C9 win, they're in finals weekend, denying at least the easy path for 100 Thieves to their third straight finals. Cloud9, I believe it's the first time in a finals back from them since spring of 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah. In summer of 2021, it was actually Cloud9 or 100 Thieves who knocked Cloud9 out of the finals in their lower bracket run. Cloud9, of course, was in the finals weekend there. They were just arriving from the losers bracket.
Quick sidestep keeps Berserker safe as he's happy to keep generating XP. So often, AD carries are left sort of like solo the mid lane and supports roam around, but you just get rid of part of Nilah's power if you don't let her give someone else some experience. So Zven always sticking around. Level 10 on the Yuumi. Has a 2-level lead over Huhi. FBI himself also level down as Berserker keeps printing XP. Almost 11, 2 minutes away, and then he's got a rank 2 ulti and will also have a 2-level lead.
Yeah, it's a nice little bit of advantage for C9 that you don't see immediately in the gold lead. This big level advantage that's kind of coming through from the bot lane of extra experience does mean that when this dragon fight happens, I assume 100 Thieves will decide that this is one that they want to fight. Most teams have their first item completed. Might have some 2 items coming through in time. Berserker is on 800 gold. He's a little bit more. Maybe he can get to second item, probably Phantom Dancer, you have to assume.
Blaber.
Interesting Luden's pickup by Abbeddage as well instead of the Andrews, which is what you normally see on the Seraphine. Maybe wanting just a little bit more front-loaded burst. C9 very powerful here, though, brute forcing this mid-turret.
He's mono AP, thinks maybe no one builds any MR, so I can go for a more pen-based build to deal more damage to the team fight. We got a little bit of danger on the side, though. Closer a bit caught out, jumps the wall, but Fudge has him locked down with the ulti. He gets a Lulu, but he's still gonna drop. Zven gets the kill credit, and they've locked down Abbeddage. Blaber gets the second, and they're chasing for more. Fudge gonna get the knockback. FBI cutting as best he can. Will stay alive with a slow from Huhi. A bit more comes through, but a flash gets away from Nilah.
Huge hop over the wall there by FBI. Make sure he did not get pulled back in, I think, by that ultimate right there. Ssumday just never even showed up in the fight. That's that Fed member we were talking about 100 Thieves investing in. The fact that he was not there meant that it was very easy for Cloud9 to just kind of run them over.
It was such a crucial pick at the start onto Closer. He was definitely looking for a flank as that turret was going down. Both teams actually looking to fight to preempt this dragon standoff, and Cloud9 just win it so handily.
Gonna put them on soul point, up 2,000 gold now. Marching slowly, steadily forward. Here's 100 Thieves Closer looking for the flank, but they just decide we'll just jump on him as Jensen drops the turret mid.
Crucially, Fudge starts the ulti in time to lock him in place. He got over the wall, but had nowhere else to go.
And then also the Yuumi ultimate just kind of catches Abbeddage, who was trying to play over the wall.
Yeah,
really makes it a totally lost fight.
Jensen could free hit him down during that time. It was very, very easy. And there you see, FBI was dead if he did not get over the wall during that apotheosis ultimate by Nilah there to get out. And the Abbeddage build is one that I'm more and more thinking about it, not in thinking it's a great pickup, because a lot of the times you're getting that mythic passive of CDR, which helps you spam out in mid to late game team fights, those extra shield heals. You get those echoes faster as well because it's based off your passive, your basic ability usage.
Right, yeah.
And realistically, the flat pen, or the lethality pen kind of thing that you're getting from the Ludens is not going to help nearly as much as in those mid to late game team fights.
Sure. It is statistically supported as a decent option in solo queue. It actually functions okay, but I still agree that the option of being more supportive makes a lot of sense in this one. Ulti's going to be dodged around, a quick route, but it might not kill Ssumday. Closer might feel safe, but you got Blaber on top of him. Here comes Fudge as well for a bit more. Closer trying to scoop away. The Azir ult to buy some more time. Jensen very low, and Zeri's got one. Closer staying alive, finally drops Apotheosis, builds some more space, but Berserker will drop as well. Ssumday is huge. Fudge pushed back out. A single death for 100 Thieves, but they have killed 2.
Closer breaking their ankles, baiting them in there, actually pops the clone behind Jensen when Jensen then decides to drop his ult forward, baits everyone thinking they have pushed the monkey off of them, but Closer shows back up with a second ultimate. He goes down for it, but it buys enough space for the rest of 100 Thieves to focus down Blaber during that time period, and by the time Berserker could re-engage, the fight was already lost.
And that was a fight where no one on 100 Thieves had 2 major completed items, and they were still able to win it. I do wonder how the Nilah is going to look in future fights, because Berserker definitely went in there for the Wombo, but there's the Lulu shields, there's the Seraphine shields, there's all these bruisers. He just kind of kills himself by flying into the team through the shield bow. Definitely makes me feel like C9 is going to be on a pretty big timer to secure this soul in 3 minutes.
Well, Moonstone came through for Zven. We'll see if he gets the Future Fire next. I think he's on the build path towards it to cut the healing even more. There's certainly a decent amount here, right? Find Sunder, Eclipse, Aatrox's entire kit. It all certainly adds up. Close game, though. 500 gold difference, but also 3 Drakes worth of stats. Cloud9, again, still looking better on the scoreboard, but we just saw 100 Thieves win a fight.
So obviously Cloud9 want to step forward a little bit, contest this Rift Herald push. Blaber's looking for the angle. They're going to step forward further with the Yuumi ult coming through. Closer kind of breaks off to the right side, and when they have Ssumday locked down, he thinks he can't get out, so he decides to go in here. That's when he gets the flash ult knockup. He W's backwards. You see Jensen tries to shove him forwards, and he's already behind him, got that second knockup. It does kill him, but it allowed them to kill Trundle in the meantime. Berserker goes in. There he is, popped, focused down easily.
Yeah, I mean, he finishes off Closer, but then he's right next to Aatrox.
Yeah.
It's not where you want to be. Just... whoop!
Out.
So clever.
And then he's already got, back into the back line, built a lot of space for it. Still a close game, though. Minute 40 until this Drake comes up. It is Infernal Soul for Cloud9 if they get it. And that means you can't give them Baron, you can't give them Drake. Either side of that trade probably feels better for Cloud9, I'll be honest. And it means 100 Thieves must have some semblance of map control. Back out of the map, 80 seconds till Drake comes up.
Yeah, already trying to work that down. Looking at summoners here, both AD carries will have their summoners back available. Jensen and Closer most likely will not. It's about a minute left on those timers, about a quarter left, just a little bit more. So Dragon will spawn. They might come up during that kind of dance that you often see around Dragon that can stall out. Feels very important for Closer to be able to get his flash back to make another play.
2 items Zeri, 2 items Seraphine. Cheap option in Seraph's Embrace, obviously a very good one, though. You love the ability haste. Partial to Riley's third myself, not as burstable, and gives you a lot more crowd control from your spam. The only one not on 2 items, though, crucially, is the jungler here in Closer. 45 seconds to go, and not on that one yet, so it should be Cloud9 on better item spikes. 40 seconds till Infernal Soul, and it is Cloud9 starting to play for the bottom river.
Yeah, weirdly enough, Phreak, Fudge is also not on 2 items, and neither is Blaber, so in terms of completed items, 100 Thieves would have the edge. Not to mention they have the Seraphine kind of fully online right now.
Fortunately, C9 is in the river first. They do have very strong zone control. Like we were talking about 100 Thieves, one of the weaknesses of this comp is its low range. So it's very easy for Yuumi and Azir to kind of sit there and force them to have to run through all this zone control. You can see 100 Thieves struggling to find a way to get some pressure in here.
Thundis comes up, Blaber back to the river. Jensen gets rid of the mid lane. They're not going to be in too much threat anymore. Drake is up in 1 second, and now we get to see the play come out. Fudge is on the wings. Not a huge threat just yet, unless you get a really nice wombo. There's a lot of good teamfight ults there on the Cloud9 side, but not to bet 100 Thieves either. We got the flash engaged, looking for it, the charm over the top, and they get the shutdown. A burst comes across, and they're going for more. Zven's got nowhere to go. Berserker runs for his life, a double kill in for the Zeri. FBI, and it's a third. 100 Thieves crush the team fight.
Critical win there for 100 Thieves on Soul Point. Just such a snap engage by Closer. We talked about how important it was for the flash to come up. It came back up, and he instantly pounced on Jensen. 100 Thieves blow him up. They get the dragon. Will they also try to push for Baron here?
It looks like they have taken full control of this game back. That engage just looks so easy. Just walk at them. If they turn around, well, then their Seraphine ult is coming, and you're going to get one shot. Jensen can teleport in. Blaber does have flash, but it's a tall task to defend this Baron.
Well, there's a smite and a flash and a jungler. Bot lane spawning just now. 5v3 of this entire fight, but can you deal with Blaber? He's been good in this fight before. Can he stop the Baron? Ssumday's gonna mark him. Polymorphed away. 2k health still. The Closer's low gets a smite. Picked up by Zeri. Scoop kills 1. And here comes reinforcements. 2 kills already. 100 Thieves forced to run away. Berserker's gonna find his fight soon. Jensen just getting away. Helped out as well. Blaber running, but Blaber dies. FBI gets 1 kill. Jensen has 5 HP. A stopwatch, but Ssumday dies. Berserker dives in with the cleanse. Gets a single. And now looking for a double. FBI's running. Shield bow pop. And he just gets away from Azir, but they're still on the chase. Needs the blast plant, needs a bit more. He's still running for his life, but Yuumi provides move speed. And he may just get out, but they're still trying. The slow's not gonna land. flash plant's gonna do it,
shot.
but the hook shot puts him into the base. FBI cannot kite it, and Fudge gets the shutdown.
It's an ace for Cloud9. 100 Thieves do secure the Baron, but they give up all their lives to make it happen just slightly too slow. Closer got so low, and he gets dropped right at the start of the fight, and slowly the rest of Cloud9 showed up to wipe them.
The gold also completely even. 26 minutes into the game, Cloud9 open up a minor lead by killing that turret. 100 Thieves really did go for it with that Baron play. Closer, crucially, just took too much damage over the wall from Jensen. But we're going to go all the way back to where this started and watch how 100 Thieves found the initial engage.
Like you were talking about, just looks so easy for Jensen. Kind of split away here. No pillar to get interrupted on Closer. Closer does the same thing again with the W clone behind the engage. In case Jensen tried to flash out, he would have option covered the there, and he could just get a second knockup. And then it's an easy chase down. It's the Baron afterwards that was just a little too greedy with Jensen TPing back in after he reses. You can see Closer getting so low. He actually has to smite early to not die, and it's fortunately enough for them, FBI is able to secure it. But afterwards, he just instantly drops, and from there, it's a 4v5 basically until Berserker's gonna show up.
Yeah, Jensen did so much work in this fight, and Blaber just tries to buy as much time as possible, delaying Seraphine and Zeri up top.
If Ssumday could have got that kill on him there, might have gotten that, you know, triumph heal, start coming back up in the fight, maybe he can keep slapping.
Jensen just waits. If Jensen just waits in the bush, he kills him right away.
I get it all the same at the very least, but I agree with you. A little bit too fast. The recalls come in. We take a breath. Baron buff immediately back off the table. 2 minutes until history can repeat itself as Cloud9 once again are on Dragon Soul point, but this time there are a few more stats for 100 Thieves as they have finally a Drake to their name.
Also, FBI has been picking up kills in these fights, 4, 1, and 2 now. Has 3 items completed. He's going the full crit focus build, no runans for any sort of spread damage, just wants to burst down whoever of these members of C9 jump on top of him.
Yeah.
Oh, Jensen is a little bit
siloed, and it gets over the wall. Crucially, not going to be comboed here, as the double flash from Abbeddage and Closer is what killed him last time. It is a trade of summoners still, but you saw the game plan. Like, Abbeddage flash followed Closer to chain the ults together just to one-shot one member, and it worked. It got in the team fight, but that was the play, right? Is burn everything on somebody getting one shot. I'm the only meta damage of the team. We are killing somebody without MR. And then playing it from there. It worked the previous time, and now Blaber in a bit of danger, knocked up, slowed, but ulti's gonna give him a lot of stats back.
Yeah, preemptive fight over the river there. You could see Blaber trying to move in and clear the control wards. Closer did not want that to happen. No jungle ults available anymore. They both trade.
Yeah, 100 Thieves maintaining dragon control critically. Man, Closer feels like he's playing angry. He's looking for engages over and over and over again, knowing that it's on him to find the members of Cloud9 to isolate out.
Good. Pillar is at the play. No, not quite. Of course, you can shoot through it with the Zeri, but we're now 25 seconds away. Ssumday doesn't have TP. He burned it to answer top and now has to run down, so he won't be part of this one as Fudge takes his own recall. Level 16 here in the Camille. 3 items. Sterix in. Death Dance in. A GA for Ssumday. Rank 3 ultis, and now here's the teleport to the bottom side. Huhi could be in danger. Does Jensen want the play? Just some poke for now, but Cloud9 own the route into this river. Looking for the roots now, but I don't think it's going to be a kill. It's Berserker locked in place, shoved down, losing his shield bow.
Yeah, no shield bow. Still have the heal on the Yuumi, but they've lost so much. They can sustain up. 100 Thieves surely will look for something. Just watch for the Seraphine ult.
And no ult for Closer this. There's nothing to guarantee that Seraphine's going to land. He's got about 5 seconds. He says, I can W, E, and combo. Flash, follow me, buddy. And we're about at that moment. Here comes Wukong ult. Here comes Closer finding the engage and zoning him out. It's time for the smite. He gets it. Once again, Blaber fails to find the secure. And we find the knockup into everything else. The charm lands, but Berserker cleanses. Berserker flashes. Berserker ults. And Berserker dies. But they'll trade back. FBI is down. It's Abbeddage on the wings. Trundle is angry, but he's slowed up by Huhi. Rooted up by Seraphine. And the damage is there. So Jensen goes for the rest. Shoves him into the wall. And he's going to take a dirt nap for now. Fudge pushes Ssumday around, but when can he hook shot back over? 3 dead. make it a fourth.
100 Thieves lose the fight 4 for 2, but in the end got the Dragon point away from Cloud9. So despite the win, it does stall this game out just a little bit longer. You can see how close these fights are, man. They just blew up Closer this time around, and the engage by Berserker took so long to actually finish off FBI.
C9 chance coming through, and you can see with no flash, Closer can't make the engage as clean enough. About half a second slow for Blaber to try and flash in to steal that. He knows if he gets it, they probably win the game. And very high damage. When you get into range of Berserker and Jensen, you die. It doesn't matter how many supports you have, and that enables Fudge to ult FBI, but just so much return fire. And then, like, that Aatrox is a problem. He lasts so long at the back of this fight.
Man, you gotta respect Berserker, though, playing this aggressively, just flying in there, kind of suiciding in, pulling everyone on top of himself to set up for that big team fight there. And then the tail end of it, Fudge does not get the kill on the Ssumday, but you can see the 1v1 kind of working in his favor now. The true damage being massive, and Jensen, Big Benson doing some big bodying on people this game.
Yep. Top lane doesn't matter, by the way. Really big out of both Ssumday and Fudge. Definitely big performance here. And we'll see what the next fight looks like, because though 100 Thieves are staving off the Dragon Souls, Cloud9 are the ones getting more kills.
Yeah.
The kill score is actually growing in their favor. The last one, again, 4-2, despite losing a Drake.
This game is feeling like 100 Thieves also need to kill Jensen right out the gate. This was the first time they were not really able to focus him down closer, had the Trundle ult on him, got exploded. Jensen carries the fight. This guy has been to 8 straight Worlds. He is an absolute beast, and they need to stop him because this Azir is a problem.
Yeah, making a case for the Azir Yuumi hypercarry. All the rage has been this Zeri Yuumi. Jensen is just pumping out damage. Death cap completed. Stopwatches as well. There are 3 stopwatches available for Cloud9, so outplay potential is high. They just need one more solid fight win to end the series.
Move in as the top team awaiting their challenger. If it happens. EG already kicked out, CLG already kicked out. Maybe they get revenge on the EG side, we'll see. But about to knock 100 Thieves down now as well, who are trying to claw back in this series. A gold deficit, but it still feels within reach. The Berserker has a cleanse, is not up right now, and Jensen only has a stopwatch.
Yeah, C9 playing a little bit defensive here because Fudge has leaked out to the bot side of the map, got that wave pushing in his favor. That's going to draw Ssumday down to them. And I guess C9 is making the read that with Trundle, we have the better front line. If we pull Ssumday away, he's tankier than Closer is. And so they want to split the map up so that they can get some Baron control.
130 on Infernal Soul for Cloud9. 3,500 gold lead. Baron is up. Last one lasted about 30 seconds before the buffs all went away, but at least it was golden XP. Right, kept the game pretty competitive. 3 stopwatches last I checked on the Cloud9 side. Yep. Every laner has one. And Berserker's cleanse is now back. In the previous fight, the Wukong Seraphine combo was on to Berserker. He cleansed, he still fought. Jensen can stopwatch only if he's not stunned. And you can see how many items he has. Crab goes to Blaber.
Momentum.
Momentum.
Undeniable now for Blaber. We'll have to see, because I mean, these fights have been back and forth. Cloud9 do have a big gold lead. It's all about if 100 Thieves can kind of find that initial engage.
Yeah, I really want to see how Berserker can possibly pop off in these fights too with Infinity Edge. If he can find the right timing to go in and kill the carries. If he goes too early, it will be trouble.
Like the anathemas on Blaber as well. Hold on.
Kites it out, but gets pillar. It's going to be really big damage to the Yuumi.
Yep.
Not an easy way out. Stopwatch to buy time, but the team fight may still begin. Closer may have no choice. W's out, stays alive, but the health bar's so low. Might see a re-engage. Sun's coming across, and Aatrox getting burned fast. Ssumday has a death stance, and he may die. It's a big knockup. Buys a lot of space. Huhi's got one, and still he won't die. Nilah in for 2. Berserker buys a bit of time, but he will trade back
Jensen
out.
on time.
Jensen goes in, shoves the squad. FBI gets help from the team, and he's going to be safe in the back line. Wants the kill, gets it. Fudge goes for broke, but he only pops the GA.
Okay.
2v1's got to be enough. You have to believe it's enough. You have to believe they kill him. Over the wall he goes, but Fudge has the stun. Fudge the backflip. Fudge gets the Bud Light ace, and down goes 100 Thieves, and Fudge and Zven will combine for a Dragon Soul.
Huge fight for C9 there, coming down to the wire. Fudge being the last bit of gas in the tank to finish off Zeri there. And with the Camille, they're able to grab Soul Point, most likely. 10 seconds on Abba does have TP, but it should be gone before then. We'll take another look at this fight, and it's just being able to force Closer into a defensive position when he goes in onto Blaber here. A nice ultimate decision by Zven saying, hey, if we just lock him in place, we don't need to kill him. It just stops that big engage threat from Closer.
And these fights are so great. Fudge sees this angle to kill Ssumday, but he's 3,000 health. Also gets Lulu ult. That pushes him up around 4,000. Also gets some shields from the Seraphine. When they don't kill the Aatrox, you think the fight's over. Watch Berserker, though. He gets the 3-man ult and takes down 2 with him. Basically solo kills the Seraphine and the Lulu, who just happenstance flashes next to him to her demise.
Huge play by Berserker. Also bought space for Jensen to try and come in towards the end of this fight and finish them off. It's just underestimating how much Zeri can do there by herself, even with the Enchanter already dead. But from here, just so much sticking power by Camille, as well as having that Q primed, doing that fat chunk of true damage as soon as he came up.
Take stock.
Back.
Yep. Big out of Jensen. Big out of FBI.
That's
and a
kind
Dragon
of
Soul.
how this game feels. FBI versus Jensen, about who can kill the other one's main threat first. That time Jensen did get dropped, but
Desperation for 100 Thieves. They don't have soul.
Every smite has been Closer, and it's going to be claimed. There we go. 100 Thieves yet again. Will this fight work out, though? It's Fudge getting huge damage on a Huhi in the back line and kites right back out. Can they kite the ulti of FBI? They're running back, and he's going to lose the stacks pretty soon. 100 Thieves has to find the fight. They're not going to get it. Ulti's down. Fudge may try again. Does he have a target? FBI stuck in the pit. Blaber buys some time, but they can burn him. He's got a Yuumi. Heals back up. Knockups for Closer. Dodges back over. Fudge stays alive.
Whoa!
And nearly a kill on the Blaber now as well.
I mean, this game could end with the next team fight. Everyone is solo. Seraphine ult still available if Abbeddage can find an angle. C9 is just so low.
Recall TP. They need to bring Ssumday back in. They know they're hemmed in. He's going to TP on top of Fudge, and this is going to give them the way out. Cloud9 will retreat this one.
there were more aggressive wards if Ssumday wanted to in the river, but he goes for the defensive TP, forcing 100 Thieves, or C9 out of the flank to buy the rest of the space for 100 Thieves to get out of there. Both teams still kind of posturing around, poking, but finally they make the decision to reset, spend some of that gold they just got from rushing that Baron. I love that decision to not let C9 set up control with an Infernal sold up Azir and then trying to walk through that. They just kind of flip the game on that Baron. They get the control. Keeps the gold lead close, but C9 do have that permanent advantage of the Infernal Soul.
Absolutely the right call for 100 Thieves to get Baron. It keeps them in the game and will hopefully bridge to an Elder Dragon fight, but also the fact they have the death cap completed by Abbeddage.
Yep.
They have nearly a Bloodthirster completed by FBI. It is possibly a team comp that can overpower a Dragon Soul. We still have a lot of League of Legends to play. So many of these have gone 5 games. This one, it looks like C9 could be in a winning position. They want to close this one, but it's still anybody's series.
They're so close to their first finals appearance in so long. This was a team that came together last minute. They were not even all together at the start of spring. They had some issues with visas trying to get everyone back in at the same time. We talked about the multiple role swaps of Fudge going back top, Zven going down in the bot lane. Everyone saw the name potential that this team had. It was just about whether they could manifest it in time to make that Worlds push. Well, they've done that in playoffs, taking down EG, making sure they have the Worlds appearance. And here, if they can just close this game out, just one more fight in their favor, they will make it.
And also, I'd say with most teams, well, Elder's up in 2.5 minutes. The losing team has the Baron buff. It's mostly going to be a standoff. You're not sure with these teams. C9, especially with Blaber, always want to fight. Closer has looked so aggressive in certain moments. So if any team steps a little bit out of line, just during these wave clear patterns, we could see a game-deciding fight.
Closer trying to take down his arch nemesis in Blaber, like you were talking about. One game coming into the series in favor of Blaber. Closer has talked about how much he hates playing against him, and here they've done a great job of marking Closer 1, 5, and 9 right now. He had a couple of huge engages, but these last couple, they have stuffed him.
Trying to catch Fudge.
Easy ward kill.
Yeah, also, since Closer has joined 100 Thieves, so if you remove the Golden Guardian games, they would now have a 50-50 win rate against each other going into this one.
Winner take all,
like
then.
the jungle rivalry.
Yes.
40 minutes onto this one. A narrow gold lead for Cloud9. Worth pointing out, Jensen is full build. Any gold he earns funds elixirs, but not much more. Full item is here.
Oh my God, you can hear the crowd reacting to these sickening Zeri W's.
Well, Yuumi pressed E and bam, back to a normal spot right now.
FBI's full build as well.
Yep. Bloodthirster's in. So Zeri is done. Azir is done. I think Berserker has a slot to go. Yeah, Last Whisper needs to be upgraded to the next item. Abbeddage still only on 3.
There are 6 GAs in the game right now. And then Zhonya's available for Jensen. Abbeddage doesn't have enough farm for his own, but this is going to be a very long fight if we see a 5.
A lot of these champions also have good moves to pop off reset. You know, when you come back out of that GA, some champions just sit there and get clapped up again, but obviously Wukong, Aatrox, Zeri, all having huge movement abilities. Same with Nilah as well. Camille, no joke. So this is going to be a very scrappy fight, most likely, unless one of these teams just finds a clean engage and obliterates the mid laners, who are one of the few people who don't have that many defensive tools. Jensen does have the Zhonyas critically.
8 seconds till Elder Dragon. A full minute before Baron comes up. A lot of time to play for that objective. 100 Thieves for now. Say what about mid lane? And balk at the idea of Fudge being in mid and not being pressured.
Yeah, they
can't race.
They have such good position on the bot wave. So C9 gets positioned through the bot lane. 100 Thieves gets positioned through the mid lane. That just both allows them to eye contact here in the river, but there's one player who's not grouped, and it's the Camille.
Yeah, Fudge does get a flank because of that. Gonna look here for Abbeddage.
Abbeddage has to flash away, but they get Fudge. Now keep in mind, he's gonna be tanky. There are Guardian Angels on every frontliner in this game.
What an escape that
on
was.
Jensen as well. Fudge gonna be safe. Has TP, has Ignite, does not have the ulti.
Gonna go back to base, come back in with TP here.
There's the flank look. Bloodthirster shield's getting stacked up, and here he goes. Ssumday will try to mark, but maybe Fudge get around him. Ward goes down. 9,000 on the Elder. It's been FBI actually the one who's been winning this fights as the root comes across, and Abbeddage is just caught and dies, and FBI forced to run. Jensen serves them all up, and it's now all over. A double kill for Berserker, and they're cleaning up everything left on the plate. A 43-minute win, and there's nothing stopping Cloud9 anymore.
A huge pillar by Blaber after seeing the flash burn by Abbeddage gets that critical team fight and will get Cloud9 back to their first finals appearance since spring 2021.
Every series is a banger, and Cloud9 has dethroned everyone from 5th seed to final boss. The Cloud9 era has returned. A 3-1 victory over 100 Thieves.
First split as support for Zven. First finals as a support for Zven. Elation on the stage by Cloud9 after such a difficult, stressful summer split. They are guaranteed that top 2.
You can see the pop-off by Max Waldo there, jumping into his players' arms, elated to have this finals appearance in what has been a very trying season for a lot of Cloud9 fans. Coming into the year, there was so much hype around this new LCK roster that a lot of people were excited about. That lasted about 2 weeks into the regular season of spring before it was blown up, and so many people started to turn against Cloud9, but slowly over the course of the summer split, with the changes they made in the offseason, they clawed their way back up to the top of the LCS.
Not every roll swap is good. This one has been, Zven has been a great support so far. And you can look up and left onto the top of the screen. Most recent champions, Cloud9, 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses. Cloud9 has taken down both of them in this playoff run. They are the final boss of the LCS this split, waiting for who is worthy to fight them again on Sunday. Tomorrow, we'll know if EG or TL are for that fight. And 100 Thieves have to wait. And in 6 days, they battle that winner, and they have to go again.
They have done the losers bracket run once before. They will need to take the week to reset and be ready for next Saturday. But Cloud9 can just sit back, prepare, and enjoy. Jensen, such awesome 2 games at the end of that series. LeBlanc and Azir. Berserker pulling out that pocket pick. Who has has an answer for Zeri. It's Berserker, and he can pop off in that last game as
Getting
well.
some redemption from that Nilah earlier in the season. You talk about Jensen as well. Talk about a redemption story here where he got dropped from Team Liquid at the start of the year for his biggest rival in Bjergsen. Then there's the question of should it be JoJo or Jensen for EG that a lot of the community was talking about. And here he is, end of the year, waiting in finals.
Yeah, and it's a small tangent with Jensen right there. It's a tricky situation when you don't have a team for spring because he wanted to join the right situation. He didn't just want to join a team to play. At this point in his career, he wants to win and he wants to go deep at Worlds. And he thought that this Cloud9 roster was something that was capable of that. So he is completely online. He's playing at a top level and they're trying to go far.
Hey, Cloud9 right now, the best team in the LCS, scaled throughout the regular season. First blood, a new support. I can understand that can take you some time, and it looks very good. Rookie AD carry in Berserker as well. An outstanding roster so far. We will again see them in a week for the LCS Championship, see if they hoist that